We spoke earlier with our reporter Arjun Karpal about this notion that Apple is just a juggernaut, but it's only the iPad side of things that was a little weak. What was the key takeaway for you? What was the thing that got you most excited about the Apple report yesterday?
Good morning. It was about the continued innovation in what obviously remains a very difficult environment. And this innovation is extending across multiple areas. iPhone is healthy. We've seen very strong growth in services, wearables, the watch, AirPods, Mac, with continued innovation there with the M1 silicon. So a lot to like here, and it's really this broadening, and that I think sets the company up well as we think about the next 12 to 24 months from a growth perspective.
What is the next 12 to 24 months going to be about? Is it going to be a continued focus here on what's happening with the services side of the business? It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Amazon as a retail operation. Now much of the focus is on web services. Is the same thing really going to happen and hit full steam, so to speak, this year with regard to the Apple ecosystem around its App Store and everything else?
In the near term, Dominic, I think we're going to see slowing growth driven partly by what are very difficult compares, given how strong the business has been throughout the pandemic. But as what we see in the March quarter, and as we look out through the rest of the year, and more importantly into 2023, is that the install base is growing. The company is delighting users across the product line. Even iPad, where it was down due to supply constraints, the install base is growing, and users are very satisfied. So I would anticipate more of that in the balance of this year. And then as we look into next year, you'll, of course, continue to have new products that get introduced over the course of this year, which ultimately drives growth in 2023 and I think beyond. And so this is a story, if we step back, about innovation and reinvention. We all remember the iPod about 2 decades ago. And so it attests to the fact that Apple can continue to invent and redefine user experiences, which is ultimately what drives growth, in my view.
So let's talk about the whole idea of evolution versus revolution. The iPad, the iPod, all of those, the iPhone, they were all very revolutionary when they were introduced. Now they are very evolutionary. We've got new versions of them coming out. What is that next big thing? Is it the car? Is it some other fitness type operation? What exactly is it going to be for Apple that you think over the coming years they will want to tell investors to get them very much more excited about the company?
I think it's going to be a few things, and we actually see signs of it right now. So, for example, if you think about the healthcare opportunity for Apple and the fitness opportunity, the watch has a lot of key features like the ECG app, or to take an electrocardiogram. You're going to see a lot more, I think, in the healthcare space. If you look in the fitness arena, you have Fitness Plus, which really combines different elements. There's the service there. There's, of course, the watch again. And so I would expect Apple to extend the healthcare offerings, perhaps into more devices, certainly into more services. And that's really their ability to work with others as well and bring an innovative experience that in many cases, as we know from the company, has helped users lead healthier, and in some cases it has saved lives. If we look at other areas like augmented and virtual reality, I think Apple has a role to play there over the next several years. What's important, in my view, is that they get the experience right. And what we've seen from the company historically is that they'd rather bring a product to market when it's ready rather than rush it out and have the user experience be anything other than terrific. You mentioned the car. I would imagine they, along with many others, are doing a lot of work around trying to think through what the car of the future looks like. So there's opportunity for them there. But I think if they're able to continue to push these products and these experiences forward, introduce new things, keep users happy, increase the size of the install base, that to me is the key to creating shareholder value over the next couple of years.
Apple right now in the pre-market trade is $165 and change. Is it, in your mind, a relative value or relatively expensive at those levels?
I think the stock is attractive here over the next couple of years, and it's driven by the growth. It's driven by the free cash flow generation. We look out a lot further and see tremendous innovation ahead. And so they're not going to be successful, of course, with everything that they do. But if they're able to innovate, create new products, new services that delight users, that in my view is the key. And so that will also translate into revenue growth and free cash flow generation. If they're able to do that, I think there's significant additional shareholder value to be created.